The facts matter.
Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It is August 17th, 2020. Once again, happy Monday morning to everyone. All right, so there is some breaking news that is on the horizon this morning, and I have already been questioned over the weekend several times with emails with regards to the Millie or MillieWeaver case. Okay, so for those of you that do not know who MillieWeaver is, she goes by Millie Millennial. She is a correspondent that works with Alex Jones. She is not an employee of his, but a contractor of his that does documentary movies and stories. She was an aspiring actress prior to that. And Millie has found herself in some trouble. So you are looking at an actual article that came up from cleveland.com. It'll be linked in the description for you to take a look at. I'm going to read just a couple of pieces of it here so that I can give you some background, and then we're going to talk about what really is probably actually going on here. Many people, let me just start out by saying, many people believe that there is a serious conspiracy going on here because she blew the whistle on some things that she claims to have found out with regards to, we'll just say, some political people. A new documentary by the name of Shadow Gate she was releasing this weekend. It is up, and I will be linking you to that documentary so you can take a look at it if you would like to. This particular arrest has sensationalized that particular documentary in more ways than one. So there's some interesting stuff here. Let's take a look. InfoWars correspondent arrested on robbery, domestic violence charges in Portage County. As you can see, this went up on Saturday at 6:10 p.m. And there is a video that I will link in the description here of herself taking a video of when the police officer, the actual state police officer, came to her door, or city police even, came to her door to let her know that she was going to be arrested. Okay, so here we go. Cleveland, Ohio, a correspondent for InfoWars, the far-right website that peddles debunked conspiracy theories and fringe political commentary, was arrested on Friday at a house in Portage County after a grand jury handed up a secret indictment charging her with robbery and domestic violence, according to officials. Let me just stop right there and make mention of the fact that all indictments are secret before the arrest is made. Okay, so to again sensationalize something based around the fact that there's a secret indictment that's charging her as though it's something out of the ordinary. It's not. Grand jury indictments are always secret before the defendant is arrested. Portage County jail staff on Saturday confirmed that MillieWeaver, 29 years old, is being held on charges of robbery, tampering with evidence, obstructing justice, and domestic violence. Her boyfriend, 45 years old, Gavin Wentz, is also being held on the same charges. Now, my understanding is that there is a brother that is also being held on the same charges. Looking up the case, you can see that there is another Weaver in there that appears to be her brother. There's also additional information that leads to the idea that that is the case. Now, you do not actually see in the video that will be linked to the description where she took of herself speaking to the police officer that came to the door. You don't actually see her boyfriend / husband. They're reporting it two different ways. I don't actually know whether they're married or not. You don't see Gavin Wentz on camera. But then again, Gavin Wentz is not famous. So, it really was more important that she was the one on camera because it needed to be, in her own words, breaking news. Both are being held until Monday morning, this morning, on arraignment, for an arraignment hearing where a common pleas court judge will set bond. The judge's name is Judy Duarte. And that information is available to the public. It is not hidden in any way. Also, the grand jury indictment is 100% state, not federal. Big difference. She's being held in a city jail, not a federal prison. A lot of the stuff that's coming out and going around is just simple nonsense. So the Weaver broadcast that went up, or the documentary that went up, it's called Shadowgate. I'm going to take you over there to take a look at that right now. And it's actually pretty important that you have the opportunity to take a look at what this particular documentary is about. Now, a lot of you are going to look at it, especially those of you subscribed to this channel will look at this and go, this is really just a normal kind of Alex Jonesy type of thing. Well, that's very true, but when you finish watching this video, when you see some of the things I'm going to show you in this video that have come out from this arrest and who have actually watched this particular video, you'll understand why it's important, especially if the information doesn't have to happen to be factually accurate in the documentary, in which it would take me a long time to debunk it. I haven't seen it all completely, and I'm not saying that it's not factually accurate. I'm simply saying if it were not factually accurate, it's providing a lot of information to a large number of people who are already driven in a direction that could potentially be considered conspiracy driven. Very damaging if the information's not accurate, is all I'm saying. So it was originally placed on YouTube, but YouTube has removed it. However, they didn't get it removed until it had been viewed by 1.3 million people and had been flagged over and over again for hate speech. So it is no longer on YouTube, but I believe the trailer still is. A link in the description of this video will provide you with the BitChute address to be able to take a look at this documentary, which is about an hour and a half long from what I've been able to determine. When I first viewed this, it had just slightly over 3,000 views, and over the last 3 hours, it has grown to 8,654 views. So it is rapidly going up almost as fast as the one that was on YouTube did. All right, so that is the name of the documentary. That is the documentary that was supposed to be dropping this weekend. And of course, it did drop, and amidst this arrest that took place. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the GoFundMe that has gone up for the Emergency Legal Defense Fund for MillieWeaver. So after she was arrested, there was a GoFundMe that went up almost immediately. And this was actually put up by a person named Ezra Levant. Now, Ezra Levant is the one who organized this fundraiser, but he also is a fellow journalist, I guess we'd call him. See, what Ezra does is this. He's out of Canada, and he runs the rebelnews.com, a far-right internet magazine or newspaper, I guess we would call it. Has a lot of stuff like you would see on Alex Jones, for example. And this person, as I said, is out of Canada. It's kind of interesting to me that there is a legal defense fund of somebody who openly admits down here in their comments that he doesn't actually personally know Millie in any way. He doesn't know her family, and he's not a member of the family. He is just providing this out of the goodness of his heart from Canada, so that this way he can assist her with any legal fees that she might run up against, because of course, she's going to need $150,000 for her legal defense for what in the city jail that we don't have any idea what it's about. It's just an assumption by many of the people that watch her that it has something to do with this documentary, which I find to be particularly interesting since none of this is federal. None of her charges, none of her, she's not in a federal prison. She's not being held by the FBI. She wasn't picked up by the FBI. You would think that if it was some, crazy, arbitrage type of thing, that it would certainly be the feds that would be after her. But regardless, this started out when I first saw it just a couple of days ago, right after she had been arrested, at a $20,000 goal. As you can see, that goal consistently continues to be moved up. It is now sitting at $150,000, which is approximately $30,000 more. No, I'm sorry, it's $50,000 more than it was this morning when I looked at it. And as you can see, they have faithfully raised $133,642. There is 2,500 donors and 2,900 people that are sharing this on their social media. There's also, to my understanding, another GoFundMe that is up to help with some other issue that's going on with being discredited or something like that. It's insane. But regardless, the person who put this up is not a member of Millie's family, not a personal friend of Millie's, just simply another journalist who feels it is their responsibility to take care of Millie in case she becomes, I guess, a city political prisoner. That's the best I can tell you. All right, so now we're going to go over and we're going to actually take a look at some other information that I was able to locate through another YouTube channel who's been investigating this for the purpose of just simply getting the truth out of it, which is exactly what I want to do. Regardless as to what side of the political spectrum this is on, I don't care. This screams scam to me in several different ways. One is the fact that there is a definite push in attempting to try to make this look like it has something to do with some sort of federal crime or some sort of theft of paperwork or something like that, she has private information that she put in this documentary and now they're after her and all this other stuff, which in reality, she wouldn't be sitting where she's sitting if that were the case. Not one little bit. She certainly wouldn't be seeing a judge to be arraigned this morning and to be put, for bond to be set out of a city jail with city charges from a city police department. All right, so here we go. This was located somewhere within YouTube, and it says, Felicia McCarran, who claims to be Millie's mother. This reads, "It's my cell phone, worth about $50, that she took during a family dispute that happened months ago when I was in Ohio visiting my family. She took it because I had my phone on record during an argument we were having. We resolved the issue immediately and I dropped all charges right after it happened before I left Ohio, because it was a gross misunderstanding and no harm was done. All families have their disagreements, especially during a quarantine. In California, nothing happens when you call the police. I am shocked that my family was arrested after I told the police to drop all charges months ago. I had a general affidavit of non-prosecution notarized today, and I spoke with the police chief, who told me I could not do anything until Monday morning, and my daughter, son, and her boyfriend have to stay in jail over the weekend. I am extremely upset. This is not what I wanted to happen. I think they have a lot bigger fish to fry. Makes me think this might have been done to prevent her from coming out with some political information she is covering. There was no reason for this. I verified with the police that this is the reason for her arrest." So what her mother, who says is her mother anyway, is claiming is the same thing I found in other areas, that this is about a stolen cell phone and some sort of altercation or argument within the family. Has to do not only with her, but also her brother, which is Miss Felicia McCarran's son. And there is another Weaver, as I said, that is being held. And her boyfriend. Now, here we go with the boyfriend-husband thing. Once again, I really don't know whether it is her husband or her boyfriend, but regardless, this is what the supposed mother is saying. Now, when we're looking at posts, we have to take things kind of with a grain of salt, obviously. Even the person who reported on this said exactly the same thing. Need to take it with a grain of salt because we don't for sure know that this is her mother. But quite frankly, For those attorneys that are on this channel, please take a close look at this. Out of Ohio, this person has been charged with robbery and with obstructing justice, which could be for any number of reasons, and with domestic violence. Okay, we're not talking about, like I said, we're not talking about federal charges. We're not talking about arbitrage. We're not talking about espionage. We're not talking about anything crazy like that. But yet there are reports all over the conspiracy world, all over the Alex Jones world, all over the right-wing extremist world, saying this is all about her dropping all of the nuggets in that new documentary. This is a situation to watch, ladies and gentlemen, because this is how people get scammed out of lots and lots of money, and this is how crowdfunding through a GoFundMe can rip a lot of people off. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll be more than happy to retract and apologize to Millie, and I certainly hope that her and her brother and her boyfriend or husband get this straightened out, because this is not a scenario that would be fun to go with no matter what. Wouldn't be fun to have to deal with this, especially if what her mother is saying is true, and it was just basically an argument and a misunderstanding. But I have to say that a lot of times a state will actually pick up a charge. If they feel that there's a conviction there, they'll pick it up. And once they pick it up, it doesn't really matter whether you drop charges or not. Hopefully her mother will be able to actually go in this morning and have the charges dropped against her. By way of just telling them that it was a misunderstanding and it was the heat of the moment. But we don't really know. We're going to have to continue to follow this, but I will say this. Once you take a look at the documentary, you'll kind of see what's going on here a little bit. And if you're wise and you do your own research, you'll find that there seems to be an agenda here. Now, how much this agenda has to do with this arrest, I can't tell you. And how much this arrest has to do with the pushing of this documentary, well, that remains to be seen also. But I wanted to make sure everybody was aware that this is what I know at this point. And we do know one other thing. She definitely has the money to get an emergency legal defense fund. Or she definitely has an emergency legal defense fund to get an attorney. We'll say that. And in the event that this happens to be somebody who's not willing to actually allow her to get these funds, well, this is going to be a lot more than $133,000. Because, of course, if this is out of Canada, well, the exchange rate's different. And generally, quite a bit higher in Canada. Something to watch. So for all of you that are getting ready to attack the Virgo Triad channel simply because I'm maybe rocking the boat on the conspiracy theory, I would say, just for this time, sit back and watch. Things are not always as they seem, but they do always show the truth in the end, even if it takes a while. I'll continue to follow this, and I hope everybody has a great day. Bye-bye.